Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel. So today we are doing a comparison review, a test between the JPX923 Forged and the Mizuno Pro 225. Now, although these irons are quite different in necessarily who they're marketed for potentially, they do operate a similar idea when it comes to bridging. Should you go to a JPX923 Forged, or could you move over into the most forgiving Mizuno Pro option? It looks like a fat 221. So if you got a airline, shove it down the hosel of a 221 and blew on it hard, and went whoop, top lines, soles and blade lengths are slightly bigger. And then when it comes to the 923 Forged, it's got that back plate, it's got that milled slot which you can't see because the black plate disguises it. But for the difference between this one and the old 921 Forged, the face is fractionally thinner, the micro slot inside is slightly bigger, it's been reworked, so it's a revised version of the previous one. This one, the 225, looks wise possibly my favourite, but this has got tungsten in it where it hasn't got in that in the 923 Forged. 28.5 grams I think the 225 has got, with a stabilising 431 stainless backplate, and then it moves and transitions into 1025E when it comes to both of them, very much so in the more lofted lower irons. So right, let's go give this a hit, because they're both very similar. They've both got exact same amount of loft, and if you look at the lofting differences between the whole entire sets, they're basically exactly the same. So you could go either way. Let's go get it on a hole. Let's go give them both a hit, see how they feel, and see if there's any advantages to either or. And remember guys, right at the end of the video, I will be doing the forgiveness testing as well. So I will be hitting these all over the face to get an idea of what happens when you don't hit the middle, and to see if any of these, one of the two, are more forgiving than the other. Simulator turned on now. We are at Crosswater Golf Club, hole 7, 178 lovely yards out. Both of these irons are 30 degrees, so we won't have to change the pin at all. Slightly different technology that we've just got into when it comes to the head constructions and stuff, so it'd be interesting to see if there's any flight differences between them, and then of course when it comes to the forgiveness side, any benefits between one or the other, being the bridging irons that they are. Right, as in Crosswater Golf Club, I've got to go cross water twice. I have water, the green on the left and right hand side, but yeah, it's a very narrow green, but the one good thing is I've got a little bit of room on the left hand side that it bounces in, and a little bit of room on the right hand side which bounces in, but I haven't got too much room because it'll go in the water if not. Right, so let's go do JPX923 Forged first, and yeah, so down by the golf ball, little changes for this year when it comes to the old 921, with the top lines being slightly thinner than the ones beforehand, but it is marginal. It's a revision of the old one, but yeah, I can't see anything out the back of the golf ball, the golf club whatsoever at address. And yeah, sole thicknesses are medium, I would say. They're not massively thick whatsoever. They talk about how they've changed the sole for turf interaction, all that lovely talk, but depends if you really want to get into turf interaction. And then so blade lengths also not too big either. I think sort of fairly similar when it comes to the entire looks between 225 and 923 Forged. So let's go give this one a hit and feel if there's, remember there's chromoly in this, a 4135 or 4120, whichever the 15 go. Solid strike, not bad whatsoever. 1 degree open, that's why it's slightly right, if you can call that slightly right. Right, 2 mil low, everything good apart from 1 open, that's the reason why I went right, and it's a solid feel. Can you feel the chromoly? Yeah, if you go from say like a 221 or something which is pure, then you're going to feel the difference on this. Is there a difference between this and then say the JPX923 hot metal side of things? Marginal, and it's not because this one's extra crispy, not at all. It's so because the new 923 hot metal side is extra dull, quiet, muted, whichever you want to call it. Bear in mind, they are the full-on game improvement irons, the hot metals, where this one is supposed to give you a little bit extra when you don't quite do your job properly. 36 yards in the air, 49 degrees descent angle, basically 48.7. It's just good. I mean, it just feels solid, it just feels punchy. I guess that's what the Forged is supposed to do. That was slightly off. I might be using the right hand side of the greens bouncy. Go on, bouncy more. Yeah, you'll be able to see there, just a fraction off. Too open this time, fractionally heavy. Yeah, just a late delivery. But still feels absolutely fine. I mean, it really does. It feels... Forged is a weird thing when obviously you're including chromoly in the mix, that it is. They've got chromoly obviously in these, and then it will, it migrates to standard when the loft goes much more than this is at the moment. So I think, is it 8 iron? It transitions to 1025E. Yeah, anyway, I'll get it up on the screen if I can find the actual transitional picture. But they do it for gapping purposes, to make sure all the lofts are done correctly and the transitional technology is such that the your distance is correct, because if you do it too early or too soon, you get too big a gap between golf clubs when the transition happens. So there is a reason why they move from technology to technology throughout the set. That's a lovely toe strike. That possibly will definitely make it in there, into the old forgiveness side of things. That was so bad. That was actually a true one. I didn't mean to do that. It was just a bad shot. Look at that. That might make it in there. Perfect delivery, within 0.4 of a degree, but 18 mil toe. Wow. Yeah. 171 yards, and I think, what was the previous one? Can't remember, 179? 178, something like that, so we lost 8 yards or so from that strike. That is amazing, and that's why you have JPX923 Forged micro slottage inside, for that purpose and that purpose alone. Right, one last one, and then we'll flick over to the 225, possibly my favourite out of these two, just because of the looks. Slightly late again if I was being picky. Still a good shot, you take it. There you go, 175, 176 carry, was that 175? Yeah, 175. Again, I mean, that just makes that 18 mil toe one just so impressive, because of the fact that it's only dropped very small amounts considering. Right, so let's go flick over to the 225, see what differences are in that one over the 923 Forged, and see if we can pick a winner for feel. Data set now changed. We have it at the same hole, same distance, different colour line for the 225. My favourite when it comes to looks, because I'm a chromey lover, and so when it comes to blades that are lovely and chromey, yeah, I do like the look of those. Now these aren't full on chrome, they're kind of satin, polished satin. Yeah, I do prefer these ones. These ones look like a 221 that's been fattened up a bit. The top line is obviously bigger than a 221, so is the sole, so is blade length, but considering if you look at directly up against that and the yeah, I'll tell you what, there's nothing in it. I'll tell you what I will do, I'll see if I can get up on the screen, because Mizuno do on their website, they do like a comparison when it comes to the sizes and stuff like that, so you can actually see what the sole thickness is, top lines, head length is, like comparison directly between a number of different irons. So I'll do that one, I'll pop that up on the screen so you can actually see. So within reason, it looks near identical. It's just a case of this one's got a fraction less offset, really. Okay, shaft. Before we get into hitting it, I will pop it out there. The shaft in the 923 Forged was a KBS dollar taper, 120 stiff. There you go. I think. Yes, it is. Make sure. And then this one, I've got a Project X IO 5.5. It makes no difference for me. It would make a difference for some other people and stuff like that. It all depends if you're shaft sensitive. Most people are shaft sensitive. I am not shaft sensitive, so it doesn't matter what shaft I've got in here. I could have a C taper X in there, a scaffold pole, or a graphite lady shaft. For me, it doesn't make a difference. So this small, it will make a difference. Right, so let's go give it a hit, because I've been looking forward to hitting these ones, because I do enjoy hitting the Pro series of irons. Oh, out the bottom. Out the bottom door. See, a little bit of help from the undulations of the green. Bring it back on. If all greens were like that. Yeah, decent delivery, just slightly low toe. Now, okay, so that was 7 mil toe, 4 mil low. However, I can feel feedback as such. It seems I can feel more feedback on this straight away than I can do the 923 Forged. Now, I can only say that's because of it's a player's side of the Mizuno Pro. the copper, everything else, I mean, that's not ideal strike, but it still feels already slightly softer, slightly quieter, slightly duller than the 923 Forged. So they've both got chromoly in them. They're both basically made of chromoly. It's just one has copper, one hasn't. One's hollow bodied, one's micro slotted. So the difference when it comes to sound feel at the moment, even though that was slightly mishit, and I could feel that one much, much more. Oh, same one again. Very similar. Low on the face. Good shot though. If there is a rule in golf, you're going to hit or miss-hit a golf ball, always thin it, never fat it. Decent delivery, just low on the face slightly. Slightly heely, slightly low. It's done absolutely fine. But the difference, yeah, I can feel it much more. So when I miss-hit this one, even by a fraction, I can feel distinctly that it's a miss, and I can feel where. When it comes to the 923 Forged, I can still feel it, but the feedback is lessened. And they're no different. That's a normal transition from game improvement iron to then blade. If you go all the way through, you can, I mean, I've just done the stealth review on the TaylorMade stealth irons, and a really good iron, but it's just completely devoid of feel. So it's kind of like you close your eyes and swing and going, yeah, ball's gone, ain't got a clue where I've hit it. And I have to use quad to tell me where I've hit it. Go to a blade, absolutely completely different, straight away. Much more detailed feedback. A nice shot, slightly heely, pretty good, but the sound, the difference is distinct, very distinct. The 225 is softer, is duller. It'd be interesting to see what happens when it comes to the forgiveness side of things, because obviously there are technology in both of these, but the JPX is the JPX and the Mizuno Pro is the Pro. So it'd be interesting to see. Give this one last one a hit, and we'll go into the all-important forgiveness testing to see if there's any difference there. That's slightly left. Oh, I'm going to use the green now. Go on, bounce off. Go on, get right. Go on. Oh. There you go, members bounce. Oh, that's gone a long way. That's what happens when you close the face. There you go. Fractionally closed, fractionally de-lofted. If I was being picky, that's why it's jumped a few yards extra. Again, that's what happens when you close the face like that. You also de-loft as well. Open the face, add loft. And there's different reasons you can open and close the face without compromising loft, but that's a completely different video. Yes, distinctly different when it comes to the feel. You have got a little bit more feel when it comes to feedback of where you hit it. And the noise, the sound of the impact is duller, is softer with a 225, with a bit harsher, a bit more powerful, a bit more springy feeling when it comes to the 923 Forged. So let's go hit it a load of times, heel toe, high-low, all that kind of idea, both of them, to see if there's any winner when it comes to the forgiveness side of things. So after crunching all the numbers, after hitting the 923 Forged and 225 a load of times, all over the face as well for a bit of fun, we have some conclusions and some non-conclusions as such between them, because they have got both 30 degrees of loft and they are very close in their own right. So we'll have a look at all the averages when it comes to the ball data and the clubhead data to make sure I'm being honest and doing things the right way and not clearly making one win than the other through hitting one differently than the other. And then we'll go for the forgiveness side, because there are some interesting differences between them and some also very interesting similarities. So we'll do 93 ball data first. 93 Forged, ball data on average 122.5 miles an hour, launching at 18.6. Spinning at 5299, so 5.3. It's going up at 36 yards in the air, descending at 48 degrees, which is well past the 45 degree number, which I like to put on an iron when it comes to its control into a green. Anything 45 degrees or more, that's going to stop on any green. Going 176, so going a decent speed. And I've also got standard deviation on there. Remember guys, standard deviation isn't really that important when you're testing one golf club, but if you're comparing two, standard deviation is. And I could do a video on standard deviation if you wish, if you really want to get bored, but it's important to understand variance. 923 Forged done, 225 now to go. Ball speed at 122.7, 122.7 miles an hour, so fractionally faster, 0.2. Launching a fraction high at 19 degrees, but that's only 0.4. Spinning at 5257, so basically 5.3, exactly the same as the JPX, and going 36 yards in the air, exactly the same, and 48.4 degrees of descent angle. So let's get all excited over 0.4 of a degree extra descent, and carrying 177, and that's 1 yard more. Now, bear in mind, if you look at the clubhead speeds of the JPX, you'll look at clubhead speed of 90.8, efficiency is 1.35. Angle of attack 3.7, club path and face to path is very bland. Lie, a couple of degrees down, because again, they're not quite custom fit. Loft to 25.6 and 2 mil toe, 2 mil low. Again, standard deviation numbers on there. Now, it's important, I'll put on there and I'll put everything on there because you need to understand that if I'm hitting one decidedly worse than the other, yet they're both doing the same, you could argue obviously the one that's being hit worse is actually doing better than the other one. So compare that directly against the Pro 225, 90.9, 0.1, yeah. Efficiency exactly the same, 1.35. Angle attacks within a degree at 2.9 down. Again, club path and face to path is so ridiculously close. Lie 0.2 down because these clubs do fit me closer. And loft 25.2, so within 0.4 of a degree, exactly the same. Face impact, 2 mil toe, 1 mil low, and then you've got standard deviation on there, so within a millimetre of standard deviation, and it is so close between them. If you look at the graphical representation, that's possibly the easiest way for you to see the differences between everything. Even though they went the same peak heights and everything when it comes to the tabular data, remember 36 is rounded, that could be the difference between 35.5 or 36.4, so that's 0.9 of that. That's why you see the red in the Pro 225 going fractionally higher. I mean, yeah, that's less than a yard. It's 0.9 of a yard, give or take. The only thing I would say when it comes to the dispersion rings, when you look at that, the Pro 225 is slightly smaller. Now, over hitting normal shots, I did find the 225 slightly easier to be monotonously repetitive. When it comes to the 923 Forged with that slightly hotter face, it just feels like it springs more. Now that's just a feeling, and again, that dispersion circle is so ridiculously small anyway. I do this test tomorrow and it could flick the other way, although I don't think it will. Right, let's go to the all-important mishits, and I'll try to group them together as best I can do so we can directly see the difference between them. If we go to a 225 first, the Pro 225, 90.2 miles an hour clubhead speed, 0.9 from the inside, face bang on 0. 6 mil low, 12 mil heel. Remember, 1.35 efficiency was the actual average number for both of these. So we're looking at how much efficiency drop-offs we're going to get from different parts of the face. 1.30, so we've lost 0.05 from a 12 heel, 6 low, 18 mil gross away. But 12 heel, that's the important thing. That's done pretty well, considering it's a Pro 225, it's a 2.2 Mizuno Pro golf club. It's the fattest one of the lot, and with tungsten, yes. But you still don't really want to be hitting this all over the face. That's done really well. Carrying 171, not bad. I think it's lost about 5 or so yards, 5-6 yards from average from a low Healy shot. Done well. JPX time, 93 Forged, 90.2 miles an hour, same speed. Path 0.5 from the inside, 0.9 open, within reason, very bad. 18 mil heel. That's full on 18 mil heel, and I was surprised I didn't hit the hosel. That was very close to the shank and got away with it great. 1.29, it's lost 0.06, 0.1 more than the 225, but 18 straight heel is worse. Never hit the heel. That's done really well to only lose 0.06 efficiency from that strike and carrying 170. It's done really well. I cannot tell you how bad that strike is, and to get away with it. Next one, a minor low on the face here for the Pro 225. 90.5 miles an hour, 0.2 from the outside, 1 open, so a little baby fade, and 8 mil low. That's done okay, not bad whatsoever. It's only 8 mil. Efficiency's at 1.32, so it's lost a little bit, but it's carrying 170. It's doing pretty good, but that's only 8mm low. That's not that much. We have got tungsten in there, so we're not really losing too much in launch angle or anything else like that, but it's done pretty well. If you go flick that over to the next one though, when it comes to the JPX for a bit of fun, 91.7 miles an hour, 1.4 from the inside, 0.5 open, so please go to the right slightly, as it did, 8.1 yards offline, 16mm low. Now, that has lost efficiency, it has. It's only lost 0.06 from there. It's horrific. 16mm low is terrible, and you will not be moving any more millimeters than 16mm low before you start topping it. It still launched well. It still launched at 15.1 and had some modicum of spin on it. It's carried 171. It's done exceptionally well. Even though obviously it's a much worse strike than the 225, considering the magnitude of the much lower strike, it's done much better. Yeah, you've got tungsten in the 225, but it will not beat when it comes to micro slot and stuff like that from a JPX. It's very, very good from that strike. Right, next one, we have JPX again. 91.6 miles an hour clubhead speed, 0.4 from the inside, 1.6 open. 6mm low, 13 toe. So 19mm off of middle, and it's dropped 1.33 efficiencies from 0.02. So that is amazingly good, considering we're hitting it there. That is not middle. Now, it has got the power frame in the JPX series, power frame, V chassis, whatever you want to call it this year. Basically, it loves toe strikes. Generally speaking, no golf clubs like heel. I mean, this one's done all right off 18 heel, but this will chew up toe strikes for breakfast. It loves toe strikes. If you're a toe striker, JPX loves it. That's done really well. That has. Next one, 225. We're pushing it now a little bit. 91 miles an hour, 0.7 from the inside, one closed. 3mm low, 17 toe, so 20mm away from effective middle. 1.31 efficiency. Remember, that's dropped hardly anything, considering we are now 20mm away from the middle. Again, hit it off the toe. You are going to lose so much less by missing out the toe than you're missing anywhere else in the face. If you're a heel striker, really work hard on trying to get your strike toe biased. You'll gain no end. Next one for the JPX, just to try and push the low toe a little bit more. 0.7 from the inside, 1.3 open, so baby right. 7mm low, 16 toe, so now 23mm away from the middle, and it's dropped to 1.3. It's doing really well. Out of the two, okay, if I had to conclude the difference between the two, I would say that marginally the JPX923 Forged will pip the 225 when it comes to raw forgiveness. If you are going to absolutely pepper the face, then yes, I think the 923 Forged will pip the 225. Is it by much? No, it's not by a huge amount, but there is a gap there. It just retains a bit more efficiency from a bit more extremes part of the face. And I suppose, yeah, if you're going to go too crazy, then you're going to need to go into something like a hot metal where you've got the uber help. And actually, because there are quite a few requests for the Hot Metal Pro against 225, I think after this one, I'll do the Hot Metal Pro straight away, because that'll be an interesting one. Because obviously Hot Metal Pro, even though it's the Pro side, less offset, thinner top lines and stuff like that, it's still got the hot metal body, the chassis of it, where the JPX Forged has got its own design structure and it's different to the Hot Metal series. So it will be an interesting one. And I think for that one, because obviously the speed is different, I think for people that's going to go from a Hot Metal Pro, I might do the next one. Yeah, I'll do the Hot Metal Pro 85 miles an hour, I think. 80 odd miles an hour for a bit of fun. Yeah, we'll do that. And so, yeah, when it comes to the differences between, I'd say forgiveness just to the 923 Forged. When it comes to looks, personally, I would say the 225, because it looks more like the Mizuno Pro blade at 221. Just a fatter version of, but again, looks are subjective. You ask 20 different people, 20 different answers. Performance though, I would say if you're going to be a half decent striker, I would go for the 225, because I felt when I was hitting the 225 normally, no different to the JPX923 Forged normally, I just felt that the Pro, being the Pro version, was just a little bit more easier for me to control the consistency of distance and direction. I could get into a fairly monotonous practice, boom, 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 and hitting a very similar number. The 923 Forged with that micro slot face, I mean, it's such a small amount, it just feels a little bit hotter, a little bit more, I wouldn't say inconsistent, but definitely a little bit more explosive off the face. Now, again, you do this test 2 different days, you might get 2 different results. The results are so very, very close anyway. So everything, when it comes to the choice between these two, will have to be down to you physically test them yourself and see if there is a difference that you can tell when it comes to your strike patterns, if one suits you more than the other. It is so, so close. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, down there's a thumbs up button. YouTube likes it, so do I. YouTube especially likes it, but so do I. Next to it is a subscribe button. It's a little red button. It's free. If you could do that, that helps the channel no end. And also, next to that is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.